What's going on, YouTube? This is Vince with the Vinsanity Shred, and I'm back with another video with an answer to one of your guys' questions. I have a guy here, Nick T. He's asking, would you say it's smarter while carb cycling on my high carb day to do my circuit training and high intensity? So I am going to be giving you guys 3 tips that you all should be following when you are carb cycling. If you don't know what carb cycling is, it's basically just a way of dieting when you go through a low, moderate, and high carb day and a specific cycle. And basically what this does is just trick your body into using fat as your primary fuel source without slowing down your metabolism. It's something that I'll get into in a video later on. But for right now, I want to give you guys 3 tips that you should be taking into account when you are carb cycling. So first and foremost, I'll start with your question, Nick. Is it smarter while carb cycling on your high carb days to do circuit training and high intensity? Simple answer is yes. When you are carb cycling, obviously there's gonna be some days when you have less carbs in your system than others. And so when you are training and you have your weekly training split, my personal piece of advice, and scientifically as well, because when you have more carbs, you're gonna have more glycogen in your muscles, therefore you're gonna have more muscular endurance, more muscular energy, more strength output. When you are carb cycling, it is much smarter to save your more intense days for your high carb days. This can be, let's say you're an ectomorph, you're a skinny guy. This would normally be, for me personally, if I'm carb cycling, this would be on my leg day, because legs are going to take the most energy. Your calories on your high carb day, your calories are higher than your calories on your low carb day. So you're going to be able to put those calories to use and actually get some extra, I guess you could say, gains out of the calories that you're eating. And then same thing goes for whoever is not an ectomorph. If you're trying to cut some fat, if you're trying to lose a bunch of weight, you should use your high carb day for a day that you are going to be doing some high intensity interval training, or maybe you're doing an intense circuit where you're doing a bunch of different exercises. Basically, whatever day you are looking forward to the least, whatever day is the hardest for you, whatever day you're sweating the most, whatever day you're the most gassed, whatever the day is that you're using the most muscle, that's the day that you should save your high carb day for. And you should try to plan your meals, your diet, your weekly meal regimen, and your workout training regimen accordingly so that those fall on the same day. That's the first tip, and to answer your question. And so that brings me to my next tip. Tip number 2 is, when you're carb cycling, you want to save your low carb day, so the complete opposite end of the spectrum. You want to save your low carb day for a rest day, because on a low carb day, your muscles you're going to be feeling a lot more depleted. You're not gonna have as much energy. You're gonna have less calories getting into your body that day, so you're not gonna have as much drive to go to the gym and kill a workout. And if you get a shitty workout because of bad planning of trying to match up because you didn't match up your meals and your training when you were putting this all together, then that's just going to be something that could have been taken care of a lot better, could have been prepared better. Therefore, you're gonna be just hurting yourself. So what you need to do is you need to try to save your low carb days or no carb days for your days off, because your calories are gonna be lower. You're not gonna have any carbs, you're not gonna have any glycogen in your muscles, and basically you're just gonna be feeling like shit at the gym. I have trained on no carb days before. To be completely honest with you guys, it gets easier the more you do. The first one is by far the worst. You feel like shit, you feel like going home, you feel like just sleeping and not doing any kind of weight. The weight is way heavier. First ones are much harder than the ones after that. You do get used to it, but for those of you who are wondering, try to keep your low carb days to your rest days, or the days that are the lowest intensity. Maybe if you're doing some kind of split where you're doing one day for every muscle group, save that for, I don't know, arms or shoulders, a day that has a much smaller muscle group. Therefore, you're not going to need as much glycogen. You're not going to need as much output of energy that you would normally need when you're doing something like legs or high intensity interval training or something like that. Okay, so that's the second tip. Third tip is something that applies to those of you who have been carb cycling for a little while, because when you're carb cycling, a lot of times what happens is you get results, because carb cycling is an amazing way of dieting to cut your body fat. The third tip is that when you've been carb cycling for, let's say, weeks and weeks and weeks on end, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it is, and you hit a plateau, and maybe you're not dropping fat anymore, and you are starting to look the same in the mirror, even though you're still crushing it in the gym and you're still sticking to your diet, but the weight on the scale is not going down, which you shouldn't really go by the weight on the scale anyways, because muscle weighs more than fat. Therefore, when you are replacing your fat with muscle, a lot of times your weight stays the same or even goes up. So you shouldn't be going based off the scale. But if you have a lot of weight to lose and the weight stops going down, or maybe you just aren't seeing anything in the mirror like I said, then you need to introduce a cheat day. And this is basically just acting as a refeed day, because when you're carb cycling, yes, you're having high carb days. And high carb days, usually your carbs are falling anywhere from 50 to 60, maybe, now it's not, I was gonna say maybe 70%, but it's 50 to 60% of your daily calories are coming from carbs on your high carb days typically. That's depending on your body size, your body type, whether you're an ectomorph, mesomorph, or an endomorph. But a lot of times when you are carb cycling for a while, your body gets used to that carb cycling. And what ends up happening is when you are dieting and you're cutting your calories, what happens is your leptin levels decrease. Leptin is your body's fat burning hormone, and it is in charge of basically telling your brain that your body is getting enough energy throughout the day to burn calories at the normal rate that it normally would. And when you are dieting, especially when you're carb cycling, your leptin levels are going to decrease drastically, especially on your low carb days. That's part of the whole point of the low carb day, moderate carb day, high carb day, to keep your leptin levels at a constant. But your body does adapt, and over time your leptin levels are going to be dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping, and eventually you're going to hit a plateau, and you're going to find that you're not losing weight like you did at the beginning, or you're not looking any better as fast as you did at the beginning. And that is when you introduce a cheat meal, or if you're an ectomorph or something, a cheat day. I try to say make it a cheat meal. For me personally, I'm an ectomorph, I'm a naturally skinny guy, so I can actually do a cheat day, which is really nice. I'll have 3 or 4 meals of just eating whatever I want. I usually regret it a little bit the next day, but it helps me mentally more than anything. That's another thing, that a cheat day will help you mentally. But basically, when you are doing a cheat meal or a cheat day, you want to keep it high carbs. Basically, just introduce as many calories as you want to your body, and what's going to happen is your leptin levels are going to skyrocket. Your leptin levels are going to skyrocket. This hormone is going to be telling your brain is going to be being told that you are getting way more calories than what you even need. Therefore, your body is going to start burning calories as fast as it possibly can. Your metabolism is going to be supercharged from this meal or this day of eating. Therefore, your metabolism speeds back up, and you start burning fat, and you start getting results again. So when you are finding yourself in a plateau for carb cycling, the best thing that you can do is introduce a refeed, a cheat meal, so that you can give your metabolism that boost. You can skyrocket those leptin levels so that your body can start burning calories efficiently again, and then you get back on your carb cycle. So I hope those 3 tips helped you guys. If they did, please give this video a thumbs up so I know to keep making videos like this. And if you have any questions like this, comment them in the comment section below. And again, if you guys don't know anything about carb cycling, I actually have multiple programs that give you every last detail about how to build the perfect carb cycle for your body, and I have a tool that matches you up with the perfect plan for your body, and I'll just link it in the description below. It's a free physique tool builder, so if you guys want to check that out, you can do that. Other than that, please subscribe to my channel so that you guys know when I'm answering your questions. You guys get notified. Notification squad, you're out there. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next one.